Welcome you all, dear students, for yet another biology ninth class session, fundamental unit of life, from the first chapter, continuation of the fundamental unit of life. In this session, let us try to find out what are living organisms made of. To get the answer for this, we need to conduct one activity given in your textbook 5.1. The materials required here are onion, then watch glass, slide, forceps, saffronin or methylene blue stain, blotting paper, and a brush. With the help of this activity, we will try to find with the with the help of this activity we will try to find how exactly the plant cell look like, or how this plant cell or living organisms are made of. When we take a skin of onion and mount it on a slide and observe it under a microscope, this is what exactly you see the picture of onion peel under the microscope. This is the stained part where you see three prominent parts visible under the microscope. These three prominent parts which are visible are the a rectangular shape structure with a boundary line. This boundary line is called the cytoplasm. Inside a stained part in the middle is the cytoplasm, and you see a dot like structure which is present in the center or at the periphery. This is the nucleus. So children, here is the second activity wherein we are going to see the animal cells. Here we are going to take a sample from our own mouth, that is a human chick cell. As we need a methylene blue stain here, the procedure is the same. First, we have to take some scrap from our mouth and mount it on the slide and put a drop of water on it and add a one drop of methylene blue stain. Then you place that slide onto the compound microscope and observe the slide. This is what exactly you are going to see under the compound microscope. This is the epithelial cell which are taken from our own mouth. Here also you see three prominent parts. These three prominent parts which we observe under the microscope, these are the boundary line, this is the cell membrane, the inner shaded part, this is the cytoplasm, and the dark portion or a dot in the center, this is nothing but the nucleus. This is the structure of animal cell observed under the compound electron microscope. So as we observe any type of cell under the compound microscope, we can see three prominent parts almost of all cells. These are the first one cell membrane, the second cytoplasm, and the third is the nucleus. As we know children, in single cellular organisms like amoeba, all the functions are performed in a single cell. Here, as the different functions are being carried out inside the cell, there is a division of labor in the cell also. As we can see in multicellular organism, the body is highly complex structure, so the work is being divided. There is a division of labor. For example, the heart pumps the blood, and stomach helps in digestion, kidney helps in filtering. In the same way, inside the cell also, as the cell is a living component, the cell also performs various activities which keep the cell alive. These various activities are performed by various components inside the cell, and these components we call it as a cell organelles. Now, dear children, let us discuss about the main components of the cell. That is the three basic components of the cell which are visible almost in all types of cell. The first one is the plasma membrane, the second is nucleus, and the cytoplasm. Let us see one by one structure and try to find out the function of each and every part of the important part of the cell. So the first one, the which you are observing here, this is the plasma membrane. It is also known as the cell membrane or a plasma lemma. Here you see this particular plasma membrane structure which is observed under the electron microscope. As we see this, it is made out of phospholipids. It is made of two layers of lipid, bilipid layer, within where the proteins are embedded like a sandwich. Now, dear children, let us discuss about the function of plasma membrane. As we see, it regulates the movement of molecules from in and out of the cell, molecules inside and outside of the cell. It helps in maintaining the distinct composition of the cell. Means what is inside the cell, within the cytoplasm, the organelles which are present, it are being protected by the membrane, plasma membrane, from its outer environment. So it also helps in the transportation of molecules across the plasma membrane. And how this is being done? It is done by two ways. These two processes are known as diffusion and osmosis. Children, let us now discuss about what is diffusion and osmosis. So here we see diffusion is a movement of solutes or ions from higher concentration to lower concentration. So it is a kind of a passive transport. Passive transport means it does not require any energy. Here what kind of molecules or what kind of movements of what kind of molecules are possible? Now, for example, carbon dioxide and oxygen, which are very helpful in the respiration. These are the life supporting gases. Here the movement of molecules, that is the carbon dioxide from the environment or from the body of the cell to the outside environment, and oxygen from the outside environment to the inside of the cell, is possible by the process called diffusion. But there is one condition required for this, and what is that condition? There should be a concentration difference. And what is that concentration difference? Here we see the concentration of the molecules or the solute should be from higher to the lower concentration. Means inside the cell, suppose if the carbon dioxide concentration is 50 and outside the cell it is 10%. So from where to where the molecules will move? The molecules will move from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. So by this way the movement of molecule is possible, and this process of movement of molecules, that is moving from higher region to lower region, is called as a diffusion. There is yet another process which is known as a osmosis. It is also a simple diffusion is a simple type of process, whereas osmosis is called as a special type of process or special type of diffusion. Why? Let us see. So osmosis, what happens here? There is a movement of solvent. In earlier case we have seen it is a solute. Solute means which is present in a small quantity. For example, we have taken a sugar solution. In sugar solution, we take sugar in a less quantity and water in a more quantity. When we mix together, we get a sugar solution. So in this, sugar is a solute and water is a solvent. So in the same way, in osmosis, the movement of solvent here, especially the water molecules, move from a region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration, but it is through a semi permeable membrane, and this is called as a osmosis. So why we call it as a special type of diffusion? Because the movement of water molecules from higher region to lower region through a semi permeable membrane. So this is called a special type of diffusion. So let us see what is this diffusion, or what is this osmosis. So osmosis can also be called as a diffusion of solvents. Solvents in the sense where the H2O, water molecule is, the movement of water molecule is possible. So there are two ways. One is the end osmosis, the other one is osmosis. What is end osmosis? End osmosis means movement of solvent, that is the water which is in large quantity moves into the cell, means it will enter into the cell, then it is endosmosis. And if it is moving from the cell to the outside environment, that is movement of solvent outside the cell, is called as a exosmosis. I hope you have understood clearly what is diffusion and osmosis. So if we take the cell and place it in a solution, for example salt solution or a sugar solution, here three things are possible. Means the cell is observed, means the cell get changes either in these three ways. What is that? Either the cell may reduce in shape, or the cell may increase in shape, or become bigger in size, or it may remain as it is. So what are these all three solutions called? So what is isotonic solution? Here you see children, the isotonic solution means here the water level inside as well as outside the cell remains the same, and that's why there will be no movement of water, and the cells will remain as it is in size and shape. But in case of hypertonic solution, that is in this case, you can see the cells have shrink in size, they have reduced in size, because the water is moving away from the cell, means it is moving from the cell to outside environment. And when it happens like this, if the outside environment, that is in the environment outside here, the percentage of the water is less, the water is moving from a higher region to the lower region, that is in this case the water inside the cell is in higher concentration, so it is moving outside. When you take a salt solution and place the cell inside the salt solution, obviously the water content is less and the solute is content is more, so the water inside the cell will move outside the environment, and because of this the cell will shrink in size. Whereas in hypotonic solution, that is in this case hypotonic solution, what happens, the water from outside the environment will enter into inside the cell. Again here you see the movement of water molecule from higher region to lower region through a semi permeable membrane. Semi-permeable membrane means the cell is having the membrane, and this membrane is allowing the movement of the water from outside to inside. In all these three cases, we see hypotonic solution means where the size of the cell will increase because the water is entering from outside environment to inside the cell, and in this case, as a result of that, the cell will increase in size. Whereas in isotonic solution, the cell size will remain as it is because there will be no movement, because outside also the level of water is same and inside also the level is same. If you talk about hypertonic solution, what happens here? The cell gets shrink. And why the cell shrinks here? Because the water which is present in the cell is moving outside the environment, and as a result of that the cell will decrease in its size, it will reduce, it will shrink. So aquatic animals, that is freshwater animals, or the waters aquatic animals, they take in or exchange the gases, that is carbon dioxide and oxygen, or important food molecules by the help of this all process, osmosis and diffusion. Now here is one of the picture which is showing how the amoeba is taking its food, and the process of taking of its food is called as a endocytosis. So what is this endocytosis? Endocytosis is one of the process where you see, as we know, this is uh, a single cell wherein it comprises of a whole organism, a whole new organism. So it is one of the life here. This organism need to take food, and amoeba doesn't have any kind of a special organ to take the food. Now here what happens is, in this case, the amoeba, as soon as it approaches near the food, as the plasma membrane, this membrane is very flexible, and this particular finger like projection what you are seeing over here, these are the pseudopodia. So this is a multipurpose organ in case of a amoeba. It helps in locomotion as well as in capturing the food. Now what happens here in the first case, as the amoeba approaches near the food, what happens, this plasma membrane will extend like finger like projection, like it will appear like a finger like projection, and slowly it will take that food inside, and after that it will engulf the food, encircling the food, and then a food vacuole is formed, as in the fourth case you are seeing, fourth picture. So this whole process of obtaining the food with the help of plasma membrane, a flexible membrane, is called as a endocytosis. It is called as a endocytosis in amoeba. I hope you people will remember this. Now let us discuss one of the important component which is seen only and only in the plants as well as in some few fungi and some of the bacteria, and that is the cell wall, which is a additional feature seen in plant cells along with the plasma membrane. Plasma membrane is found almost in all type of cell, but cell wall is found only in the plant cell, fungi, some of the bacteria. So what is this cell wall? Now as we know, plasma membrane is made out of phospholipid layers, that is two layers of lipid and the protein, whereas here we are going to discuss about the cell wall. Now this cell wall, it is the outermost covering of the plant cell. It is absent in animal cell. Obviously it is absent in animal cell. The cell wall is rigid means very tough, strong, thick, porous in the sense it is having small holes on it, and non-living structure. It is made out of cellulose. It is made out of cellulose and hemicellulose, which is very tough. That's why the herbivore animals take long time for the digestion. This is a very hard chemical substance which takes long time for the digestion. So cell walls of two adjacent cells are joined by a layer called a middle lamella. So you can see over here a very means very prominent or a very nice diagram of a cell wall. So you can see this as a the joint between the two layers adjacent cells is by a middle lamella, and there is a primary wall, secondary wall, and the plasma membrane. So this is the structure of cell wall observed under the electron microscope. Now let us consider the function of this cell wall. Now here we see that the plasma the cell wall, it provides a definite shape to the cell. So it does not allow to alter the shape of the plant cell. It provides a definite shape to the cell. It provides strength to the cell, as in case of animals they have a bone and they can stand erect, but here to compete with the changing environment. This plant cell has an uh, cell wall. This cell wall provides a strength to the cell. Next, you see it is a permeable and allows entry of molecules of different sizes. So again here this cell wall also act as a permeable, means it give permission for certain materials to move in and out of the cell, and it has the characteristics of repair and regeneration. So what is this repair and regeneration? Children, it is very important here to know that this particular cell wall performs a very important functions in the plants. For example, one of the process is called as a plasmolysis. Plasmolysis.